You know, a lot of the recent studies in the area of what's wrong with the justice system in this country have come to the conclusion that the real quality of it is a direct function of what they call a local legal culture. And this sounds like a lot of gobbledygook, but it really isn't. This culture that exists in each community is something that's conditioned by the demographic factors, the economic, the social factors, and the incidence of attorneys and professionals. And I have had a unique chance to get a perception on the culture in this community. I don't know whether many of you realize it or not, but since I've been administrative judge, 9,000 different attorneys have filed pleadings in our court. Most trials, 9 out of 10 cases are not tried. So there is, with 10 or a dozen judges, a statistical chance that each judge might get to see 1 or 2% of the cases. And this is true with respect to your colleagues in your practice, that there are many, many professionals out there that you don't know about, you don't understand. And there are some difficulties about this. What I have found in this experience is that both on the bench in this court and in the practicing bar in this community, that this local legal culture generates the highest quality of professional activity probably in the country. You have a community of considerable wealth, personally, for a lot of people. You have business and community, commercial interests that are complex and new and unique and arrangements. You have a high education level in the community, and you have one of the highest incidents of professional lawyers of anywhere in the state. So the challenges are there. The clients are demanding, and you people are put to your mettle and you measure up and you challenge the bench. And they respond. The difficulty is, even amongst yourselves, you don't recognize it. The media deals with episodic matters, and the public gets an impression of what the practicing bar is, how it works, and they don't understand that you are providing a very, very high quality of an essential service in the community, resolving their disputes. They have come to expect the courts to solve all the flaws, the problems of the flaws in the society. And we're not organized to do that. We can resolve the disputes, but we may or may not solve the problems. And we're not going to be able to do it, but they've come to expect it, but we're not organized in that way. I have some pride in some things that we've done, and I'd like to make mention of those. As the court problems have accumulated in our country in recent decades, there's been a lot of focus on the management of them and the problems with them. And they've brought a lot of I guess you call them MPAs, Masters of Public Administration, all that sort of thing. elitist groups in to examine the situation. And what I found was that there was an elitist attitude that denigrated the position of the clerks of the courts. And they were looked down upon, or presumed that they could not measure up to these high standards that they were erecting. I perceived that that was not appropriate, and with the support of my colleagues, I've encouraged that we lean on our clerk to take on these functions. And what we've found is that he is one of the most outstanding public administrators in the court systems in America. And he's a devoted public servant. And I can see him beaming over there now. What he doesn't know is that on Monday morning, I'm going to file in the Democratic primary for clerk of the court. One of the other things that we have adopted as a policy was to try to let these good judges you got be judges. That means not have to worry about the management of the system, to focus their good talents on the disputes that you present to them, and respond as the excellent professionals that they are to the superlative professional conduct that you present. And I think that's what the public taxpayer wants and should get. And we've achieved a good deal of success in this. As I've said earlier, I think it is probably one of the most outstanding trial benches in the state or in this region. They are, as a group, we have moved from a personalized style of individual justice to a more collective and uniform standard of adjudication. This is without rules and regulations or even guidelines. We've had confidence in their abilities and capacity and their conscientiousness. So you get good, fair, sound decisions with promptness and industry that's been applied. You may not realize it, but since I started this, our filings have gone from about 7,600 to over 16,900, almost 17,000. And we have doubled the terminations per judge in our system in that period, and tripled, that's in civil cases, and tripled them in criminal cases. And last year we achieved 97% terminations of the number of filings that year. That's the best that I can find in this state, and at least 12% ahead of any other. So we've got a good, solid, high-caliber bench that's committed. The other thing that we have done is to try to organize our system so that we could appeal to your best advocacy instincts. We have wanted you to manage your own cases. We're not trying to manage them. We want to manage the flow, and we have set firm times, but we're letting the attorneys manage the cases. Your response to this system has been tremendous. You don't realize it because you're individually involved. Your contacts with your colleagues are somewhat episodic or from time to time. But you are presently achieving settlements at 2 to 3 times the numbers of any settlement courts that I've been able to find and measure in this state or any other. And you're doing it on your terms and within the frameworks of the times that we have set. You're disposing of more cases with fewer trials than we had 4 years ago. And we have done this out of respect for your adherence to the high professional standards that I found. As I said earlier, I've been a part of the milieu for years, but I perhaps didn't understand just how tremendous your efforts are and how much you can accomplish. Let me presume to give some advice. I want to suggest to you that for the future, you conduct yourselves so that you avoid the loss of your professional independence through arbitrary, coercive judicial interference in the pursuit of your cases. Don't let the government money be spent to manage your cases. And direct your organized efforts in the bar to improving your advocacy skills, rigorous enforcement of your canons of ethics, and consider possibility of the creation of systems of peer review. I realize that's a thorny question, but it's your profession, essential service in this community, and you've done a remarkable job to date, and I anticipate that will continue in the future. For myself, for my good wife, and my family, I very, very much appreciate this evening. It has been a wonderful experience for me and something I will cherish for many, many years. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please be kind enough to remain standing, Monsignor Acoustic will deliver a benediction, and after that, Howard Smith will have the roadblock passes that you can pick up the back door. God our Father, we thank you for raising up a man like Judge Cahoon, gentleman of the law, gentleman of the state, gentlemen of the church. We ask you to continue to bless him as he begins a new direction of life. We ask your blessing upon all these men and women who have dedicated themselves to the pursuit of justice. Thank you for this evening together. We ask you to deliver us home safely, give us a night of good rest, so that we can serve you better tomorrow. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, the party stands in recess. Thank you.